Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to finish up this week with a creator request, as we always do. That's where a band gets in contact with me, usually a smaller one, and asks me to check out their work. Today we're going to be looking at a group from Ravenna, Italy. They're called Elyne, I believe is the way to pronounce this. The song is called Bulletproof, and let's get into this. Let's see what they're bringing to the table today. Starting off with a ton of energy, really nice build up into this. Very rhythmic, very textural right here. Yeah, really nice moving drum part here to transition us in. Okay. I like how we also had that melodic guitar line come in the previous section to lead us into what's going on here. Very nice foreshadowing. Yeah, some vocal layering there, the cleans and the harshes. A slight variation on that verse, rhythmically in the guitar work. We didn't have the pre-chorus to lead into this. It felt a little sharp of a turn. Alright, we got some synth lines here. I like the vocals on top of the guitars, or next to the guitars in that last section. Drum and vocal only variation on this chorus. Halftime outro. Alright. A fake out back into this main riff. Okay. It kind of feels like they didn't know how to end the song, but I mean, it worked as far as keeping me on my toes, so I guess I'm okay with that. There's actually a lot of situations in here where I felt like I was being kept on my toes, for better or worse. A lot of it felt a bit experimental as far as structural. I think that's the big thing right there. Um, so where do we start with this then? Okay, let's start with that. That's the most interesting part, right? The keeping me on my toes, the experimental structure of it all. So we had our intro, and it led into our first verse, and that led into the chorus. And in a pretty typical metalcore fashion, we had a heavy rhythmic textural verse that used harsh vocals, and we shifted to a poppier, more melodic driven, clean vocal spotlit chorus. We also had a pre-chorus that sort of showed some of these ideas already coming into this, where we had the clean guitar, or not the clean guitar, the guitar pick up a melodic line that's going to slightly introduce some of the tones we would see in the chorus. After this chorus, we run back into the verse. However, the guitar line is not utilizing staccato notes anymore. It's allowing all of the separate hits to bleed into each other. And so it's a very minor rhythmic variation on the second verse that I actually thought was going to be a little bit different until we got past the pedal tone into the riff. And I noticed that that little lick at the end of the phrase was the same that we had previously, and that's when I caught on to the rhythmic variation. However, we only had, what was this, 4 bars? I think maybe 8 bars tops in this verse before shifting right back to the chorus. No pre-chorus this time, and half the length as it was the last time. It definitely feels different. I don't know if I necessarily want to say interesting in this case. Everybody's going to have their own opinions. Elyne, if you're listening to this, these are just my opinions that I'm presenting. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to make music, just kind of providing a little bit of my own criticism on this. But it feels like whiplash. It definitely keeps me on my toes. I thought we were going into the verse. Psych, we're actually not staying in this for very long. Also, double psych, there's no pre-chorus this time. Like, I kind of get the intent behind all of this, but what it feels like to me, like I said, is whiplash. We get into it, and before we even really get a taste for what the verse is doing, we've thrown right back into the chorus. And being that you're utilizing the heavy rhythmic versus melodic clean kind of concept and bouncing back and forth between the two, it is a stark bouncing back and forth. It is going from 100 to 50 to 100. Or I guess that's a terrible analogy, like 100 to 10 to 100, like just massive swings without much of a follow-up or an allusion to, foreshadowing of any of it. There's just no indication that this is what we're going to be doing, and I don't think it flows that well because of it. I like the idea. I certainly do, and this is something I talk about a lot on my channel, is variation. Right? If you're going to utilize the ever popular verse, chorus, bridge, chorus idea, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. There's a reason it's a staple. There's a reason everyone utilizes it. It's a very effective song structure. But if you're going to use it, I always suggest that you add some variation to it. And you guys certainly did. I definitely don't want to detract from that. You guys are experimenting with the structure itself and seeing how far you can push it and pull it. And I'm sure there's going to be people who absolutely love how you worked in the shorter verse and excluded that second pre-chorus. Like I mentioned, I'm just one person. These are just my opinions. I don't want to sit as any sort of authority on how to make music. That's dumb. But for me personally, it just didn't work. I felt like by the time we got back in, we were pulled right back out of it, and it was just too different of styles to be moving back and forth that rapidly. If anything, possibly maybe extend the second verse out a little bit, or create a new pre-chorus. Some other ways to create variation on the idea. I'd even say possibly you've implemented one small change to the guitar line in that second verse. Why not expand that a little bit? You've already changed a little bit of the root note, the pedal tone that you're utilizing in the first couple of bars. Why not change the lick at the end as well? Granted, in this case, it really doesn't make much sense because you're only reutilizing it once. Like I said, we quickly leave that section anyways. So maybe it's not worth making another lick for something that's going to be played once. But if you were to take the idea to extend it out a little bit, that might be an avenue to look down. However, of course, I haven't looked into the lyrics yet. It's very possible that there's some thematic elements that explain this constant back and forth that happens in this section. So I'm only approaching it from a compositional standpoint at this moment. We'll dig into that in a little bit later. The other aspect that I felt was a little bit more experimental and trying to keep me on my feet was the ending. We went through a lot of different ideas, or I should say variations on an idea. Coming into the final chorus, we had a really nice idea with the guitar solo being extended and allowing a new set of vocals to be sung alongside it, getting some counterpoint in there. Then we move into the return, the final chorus, and here we have just drums and vocals. I love this. It's a bit sparse. It allows it for that when we, because this leads up to the idea that usually on your final chorus, you're going to repeat it an extra time than usual. So we have a sparser one that allows the repetition to be larger, or at least feel larger in contrast. It could actually be the same level that it was before, but being that it's put right up against the sparse one, it feels bigger. Definitely a great way to go about doing that. And that is what happens here. And then after the chorus, though, we return back to the opening riff. And I was like, okay, that's kind of normal. We could have just ended it on the chorus, but instead we're going to bring back the opening riff. I like this idea. We were revisiting something and showing it in a new light. This is now going to be an outro. And as soon as it's about to become an outro, nope, psych, we're going back to the breakdown. Okay, bands do that. We're fine. We're fine. We do that for a few bars. Oh no, we're going to go back to that opening guitar lick, but now it's going to be by itself. And that's what I meant there when the song ended it. And I said it felt like they didn't know how to end the song because honestly, we had four endings at the end. And it just felt like the song didn't want to end. It kept, oh, what if we revisited this? What if we revisited that? What if we went back to this, both a small variation? And it just like it kept feeling like we were stumbling. We should have finished, but we hadn't lost the momentum yet. And it wasn't until that final section where you isolate the guitar that it feels like we finally released the energy and we can peter the song out and allow it to have some finality to it. And you guys found that through the fade out. And like I said, it's experimentation. I don't want to diminish that or say you shouldn't attempt it at all. And again, I'm one person. There's going to be some people who probably really enjoy what the ending is doing and think it's perfect. And some of those people might be you included. I mean, you made it, so I'm sure you're happy with it on some level. I don't want to sit here and tell you you're making music wrong. That's not why I do this channel. But to me, it does feel confused. It makes the song feel like it doesn't know what it wants to be doing there at the end. And part of this, I think, could be remedied by just selecting a single finality. I don't think any of the additions actually add much to the emotional component of the song. We've hit our highest point already. Now we just have a series of fake outs. And what is that doing narratively for the track? For me as a listener, emotionally, narratively, I don't really get anything. To me, the song's already over and we're just delaying the finality of it. And if the song is about getting through the stages of grief, that makes sense. We can tie some thematic elements to it. And again, we haven't dove into the lyrics yet. Maybe there's some stuff in there that backs this ending up. But, that's musically, though, compositionally, it just feels lost. It feels like it doesn't know where it's going. So it goes in a few different places until it just finally finds something that seems like it could end. But I feel like we could have done a crossfade between the final chorus and that solo guitar doing the intro idea, and the ending would not have had any change in atmosphere or emotional weight to it. It's I don't know, just one of the ideas should have been picked, I guess. Either end on the intro or end on the breakdown, but don't jump back and forth between them. It just doesn't feel it doesn't feel like there's confidence in the ending. I think that's the big takeaway there. Now, I've kind of focused on some negative stuff. That's not typically how I want to do this, but they were the things that were freshest in my mind, and I did want to put emphasis on the experimental aspects that the band is putting into this. I do really enjoy the fact that they're playing with structure. Even if it didn't particularly work for me, the mere fact of experimentation is something I will always support and champion. But they did do a lot of things really well. Music wise, we had a really nice stark contrast between the different sections. They all brought different emotions to the table and allowed each section to feel very unique. I would never confuse the verse and the chorus and the breakdown. They all have their own identity. However, the production and the key, and a lot of the ways that the song is composed vertically, the way that things are layered, keep all of the situations, all of the sections feeling connected. It doesn't feel like three segmented songs. So, I mean, it all comes together in a very nice package. I also really love the chorus. The pop rock style guitar work, and the vocals blew me away. I absolutely love the way everything comes together there. I would like to hear more of the clean vocals, actually. That might not be the direction they want to take it. Maybe the album is heavier than this, and this might be one of the lighter songs on it. But I was really blown away with how beautiful they were, especially given that the introduction to the vocalist was Harsh's. Also, the range was impressive for me. Just everything about the chorus vocally was really great. The drummer is doing a fantastic job holding down the tempo while adding flourishes and embellishments. Little ideas here and there, and one in particular that I really enjoyed was the more melodic playing that happened in the pre-chorus, where instead of laying down the tempo, we saw more of a melodic movement going across the toms and the snare to sort of have a bit of a pitch-based movement in the drum work rather than a purely rhythmic one. I would love to see more of these little flourishes throughout, but for this track, I think there was plenty. The bass and guitars did a phenomenal job. Absolutely loved the bass lines, the guitar work. I was a fan of, especially moving between the rhythmic stuff and the melodic stuff. The guitar solo was really well done. It was I was caught off guard a little bit with the guitar solo. The guitarist begins to take over the spotlight and the melody, and one bar in, the vocalist screams something over the guitar solo, and part of me, probably the part that I've heard people mention before, was like, man, you don't talk over the guitar solo. But then I'd say it was remedied in the next section when we had the counterpoint going on. So I can't really speak too much about it because I really enjoyed that part with the vocals and the guitars working together. But if you saw me smile or smirk or something during that guitar solo, that's why. It was when the vocalist screamed that, and I was like, man, you don't talk over the solo. Uh, that's for those who don't know, that's something I've seen in the comments a lot, especially when we look at hard rock bands or prog rock bands where guitar solos are kind of a prominent aspect of the storytelling, right? And a huge part of the genre and culture back when we had guitar heroes, so to speak. And I've talked over the guitar solos before. The Pink Floyd Dogs reaction is one that I saw a lot of people telling me I shouldn't talk over the guitar solo. So that's a little inside joke there. I've been told not to talk over guitar solos, and that was the first thing that popped into my head there. Um, yeah, I liked the guitar solo. It had really nice flow to it. I enjoyed the melodic journey that I was taken on from start to finish there. So there's solid musicianship all across this group. Um, and the ideas, while they are kind of well trodden, I can't say there's anything in here musically that really stands out as new or pushing the boundaries. As I've said before, that's not something that every band needs to explore. There's a difference between bands who innovate and those who iterate. And I think this is definitely an iterative band, taking the metalcore idea and really refining it and creating something that is perfected down to a T. And within that, like I said, taking chances and experimenting a little bit, even if they didn't work for me, they are taking something that's very refined and trying to push it in new directions. And I have nothing but appreciation and respect for that. So let's dive into the lyrics a little bit here and see what's going on with this track. Says, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, break it all. Oh, I forgot about that. The intro was really nice. We had the nice fade in. I think there was like a drum part going or a guitar part going. And we had the harsh vocals, and everything was rising in volume until he said break it all. And I don't remember if it was on break or if it was on the next bar, the downbeat of the next bar. Everything comes in though, and it's just this really nice fade in to the song without being a fade in, right? Without coming in mid track. It's a really nice way of just allowing us to start at 0 rather than starting the song at 10 and really blowing my ears right at the start. It's a nice way to fade into the song to allow me to approach it from the 0 that I'm starting at. I don't have music starting before the track begins, and bringing me into the level that's necessary that they're wanting me to be at. While also keeping the intensity, right? We're already screaming. We already got a guitar riff going on. So it's just a really nice intro. So anyways, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and break it all. So I'm pretty sure this guy's trying to calm down, but he's pretty upset. I've made the armor, life is a sudden strike, but now you can see that I'm bulletproof. I know you can make it, I'm the living proof. I count the bodies at the end of the river. Alright, so this dude feels like people take shots at him. He's had to make armor for it. He deflects the shots. He says, I know you can make it because I'm proof. So I don't know where we're making it from, but he's definitely saying that, you can take me as a mentor, so to speak. I've been where you are and now I've made it. I'm the proof of that. If you can dream it, you can make it. I feel the blood pumping through my veins. Kind of going in that same idea. A very positive, uplifting style of song. And then the chorus kicks in. I don't waste all my time. I don't waste all my life. I don't waste all my days. I choose to fight every day. I don't need your lies. The temple is me. I choose to fight every day. So yeah, he's basically just saying this whole thing seems to be, you need to make your dreams come true. They can happen. I'm proof of it. Look where I've come from. Look where I'm at. We can do this, but it's not something that passively happens. You need to take one step at a time. You need to progress towards it. In the metaphor of this song, it's fighting for that. You need to fight for your dreams. He even says that, people take shots at him. He's had to make armor, to get where he's at. It's not something that's an easy thing, but it is something that's possible. The second verse comes in, says, the life is running, you might step on the gas, so live this life, go out and take it all. Yeah, basically the same idea. You got to live life to the fullest. You can't sit there and be passive. You've got to take it, as he says. Step on the gas, pedal to the metal, full speed ahead, and take your dreams. They're not going to come to you. You got to go get them. We hit the chorus again, and then we hit the guitar solo, and then we get the counterpoint section. It says, now I can see my life. I see the steps I've made. Still, remember all the days. Look now what I've become. So yeah, there's this idea that, I look back from where I am. I'm successful, or I've accomplished my goals, or, whatever that metric was that they feel that they can be a role model for those who are also trying to do what they are. It says, I still look back on the path that got me here, but I'm really happy where I am. And he comes back to the chorus, don't waste your time. Don't waste your life. You need to fight for what you want every day. And that's what the song's about. And this is normally the part of the video where I kind of tie in musical themes with lyrical ones, and in this case I think this is just a metalcore song with these lyrics sung on top of it. I don't really see anything here that really ties them together other than the intensity of it. I think the message is very intense. It's very now, right? And it's about now. You can't waste your time. You can't waste your life. You can't be passive. You can't sit around and do nothing. You have to make your dreams come true. This is a message that they want to get out. So they use this style of music to get it out. It's very catchy. It's going to reach a lot of people's ears. It's a popular style of music, and I think that works well to deliver the message. There's also a bit of intensity to the vocal work with the harsh vocals and just really ear-catching clean vocals, as I've already gushed about a little bit before. And some of that intensity, both from the harshes, just the presence and volume of them, as well as the ear-catching elements to the clean vocals, are definitely aspects that are going to draw people to the words and to get the message across to them. So, yeah, like I said, I don't think there's anything really atmospherically or emotionally about this song that really connects it, but I think that the format they've chosen is a really great vessel to deliver the message that they're trying to tell. So those are my thoughts on Elyne's Bulletproof. This is where you guys come in. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what's going on. Let me know if you enjoyed this or not. If there's anything you'd like to tag on to it. Usually I'd plug my stuff, but since it's creator request, in the description you'll find links for everything related to the band. If you want to find more of their music, their social medias, any link that I can get my hand on, I will definitely put down there to help you guys get in contact with the band or hear their music or whatever you're wanting to do. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. That wraps it up for today. We're going to have an album review tomorrow, Patreon live stream on Sunday, and we'll be back Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual to start our new theme. Until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.